Love lives here.
And it's great. It's great to be in a community like this. So, I have a question for you. If you were a spice, what kind of spice would you be? Allspice? Woo, there we go. Right on. Good answer, good answer. What kind of spice would you be here in the room? Ginger spice, of course you would. Your favorite spice girl, yes. Sporty spice, right? Cinnamon. There's cinnamon and red pepper coming in here online as well at home. Turmeric. Ooh, anti-inflammatory. Ooh, very good. That everything spice, right? Chinese 5 spice. All right. So, sure, why not? It's a vegetable, so why not? Chocolate does count. Yes, chocolate can count. Yes. So, right? So, all these different spices, if it's good, there's just if you're each a different spice, or we're all different spices, and so each spice has its own flavor profile, doesn't it? Right? Each spice brings its own yummy goodness, like garlic and or oregano, or any number of other things, cinnamon, cardamom, curry, anise. So some of you go, others go, That was kind of funny, actually. I should have put that as the opening question for today, right? Anise, yes or no, right? So, but, and what is beautiful is that all of these unique spices, all of these flavors are unique in their flavor profiles. You have the unique taste in and of themselves. But what happens when we bring 2 or more together, when we start bringing them together and we start blending them? What then transpires with our spices? It's more yummy, right? I love that. It's a technical term. It's more yummy, right? It becomes more delicious. We have and we can blend all these different spices in different ways. And so we get different flavor profiles, don't we? So that we can have similar spices used throughout the world, right? And yet how the measurements and how much we blend in and which pairings and which ones we use might get us a Thai curry. It might get us a Jamaican jerk. It might get us an Indian curry. It might get us Mexican flavors. We have all these different spices that are available to us, all these different flavor profiles that are available to us. And as we combine them, we get different flavors, different cuisines, and we get fusions. We get combos, right? Everybody agree to that? We even hungrier now than what we were before? Yeah, good. Well, there are snacks there back there at the table, right? So you have all this richness. And if each one of us is a spice, we're good on our own. We're good on our own, right? But when we come together in different combinations, bringing our different spiciness, our different flavors, if you will, and we come together, then we have the opportunity to find or to experience a greater purpose. We have an opportunity to do more together, yes? Because as Aristotle said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Would you agree with that? Right? That if you take out that salt, right, the flavor gets just a little bit blander because the salt brightens it, right? Or maybe a little acid, a little lemon brightens something up. Or if something's a little too acidic, then we add a little sugar, right? So if we're making tomato sauce, and a key ingredient in tomato sauce is sugar, right? To balance out the acidity of the tomato. You didn't know you were coming to Food Network today, did you? So for those of you who don't cook, that's a tip. There you go, okay? And then the same spice could either be sweet or savory, right? So as we come together and we blend all of these together, the whole is greater than the sum of each individual part. So our community then is greater, is stronger than our individual pieces. Would you agree with that? So when we're in community, what are we doing? We're cooperating with one another. We're collaborating with one another. We're co-creating with one another. We are achieving much more together as a community than any one of us could individually. Think about yesterday. For those of you who were here yesterday for Frank's celebration of life, Frank Nasa's celebration of life. The number of hands, the number of hearts, the number of love that went into yesterday's event, yesterday's celebration of life, was absolutely extraordinary. And if one person hadn't been there to contribute the way each person contributed, it would not have been the same. It would not have been the same. Each person who was there, who was present, who was sharing, who participated in any way, was an integral piece and an integral part of the whole of the community. Think of all the people that brought food yesterday, and James and Cindy and others, and Helen laying the food out and keeping the food rotated so that that was happening. The decorations on the table. Dinah and I went to the flower market on Friday, to LA Flower Market, and got the little blue beads and the mirrors, and I got to speak Spanish. It was fun, right? We had a good time. And the way the tables were laid, everything was laid, all the photos that were shared, and the video, and yes, there was the service, and everything that was shared from this platform here, this podium here, about Frank's life. Each piece of it was integral to the whole, and yet no one person could have done the entire thing, right? And Jeff and Jubel singing yesterday. Yeah, right? So each person is absolutely incredibly necessary for the total of the whole. And that's part of why we come together in community, isn't it? We come together in community to support one another, to love one another, and to give and receive support. Yes? That when we give support or we give love, we share our gifts, we share our talents with one another. When we do so in community, we want to make sure that we are sharing it from a willing place, from a heartfelt place, from an open-hearted space of willingness to give. We don't ever want to feel like we are giving from a feeling of obligation. Because what does it feel like to give from a place of obligation? Blech. Right? Yucky, right? It feels terrible. And then that's really not giving, because we're not giving from the heart. So we have the opportunity then to come together, and we have the opportunity to share willingly. And it's not a self-sacrifice type of sharing, is it? We're not doing it to self-sacrifice, like, let me do this. I'm going to self-sacrifice. I'm just going to give and give and give, and I'm just going to freely give, and I'm going to 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 give. And I'm going to give, and I'm going to give. Right? Where there's a sense of self-sacrifice. Or we give too much, where we run out of stuff to give. We want to give from that healthy place, from that loving place, from that generous place. And when we are tired, then we get to step back just a little bit and allow somebody else to come in and support and give. Yes? Yeah. That's the way it works when we're working with community, isn't it? And when we are working in community, our sorrows are lightened when we're in community, yes? Our sorrows are lightened, but then our joys are magnified, aren't they? When we're working in community. Our sorrows are lightened, but our joys are magnified. So when we're in community like this, one of the important things about being in community and working together and being together with one another is that we do have this love, we do have the support, we do have this way of growing together and of moving forward together, of rising together. And sometimes we feel like, today I don't want to. Today I just don't feel like it. And that's okay, every once in a while. But I would invite you to consider that on those days that you most don't want to is the very day that you probably should. I'm going to use the word should. Right? Or that you might really want to consider being in community. Because when we feel that isolation, when we feel that sadness, when we feel that depression, when we feel that lost, or we are feeling lonely, isolating ourselves from community, pulling back from community, only cycles us deeper into the isolation, only cycles us deeper into the loneliness, only cycles us deeper into our sadness. So even if you come and you don't say a word at the morning table, but just being present in the love that is possible and present here can lift your spirits. That is what it is about, to be in spiritual community. That's why spiritual community particularly is so important. Because here in this spiritual community, we're not going to say, oh, well, what's in your consciousness? Why are you feeling crappy? Right? We're not asking those questions. We're just here to say, you know what? I love you. And I am so glad that you are here today, however you are, that you showed up today, that you're present here, now, this day. It's great to see you, and we love you. So, Matthew 18:20 says, where two or more are gathered, I am in the midst of them, right? And so here we have, in the center of your tables, we have that candle. That candle is the light of the collective wisdom that is sitting at your table. Because where two or more are gathered, there is a greater sense of wisdom, greater wisdom than you could even possibly have for yourself, right? A greater wisdom is accessible to you. A greater strength is accessible to you when that you are focused together as one. So this candle in the center of the table is a symbol of this collective unity, this collective wisdom, this collective strength that is available to you right now in your group at your table, right? Think about it. One stick is easy to snap, but when we have multiple sticks, we can't break the bundle, can we? It's much harder to break the bundle. So we're going to go to our tables now, and we're going to discuss. In the center of your table, you will also see the blue sheet of paper, that little blue piece of paper. And so I invite you to pull that blue piece of paper up, and these are your discussion topics for today. And Zena, Reverend Zena, I invite you to populate that into the chat there for everybody. All right. And so we'll have about 20 minutes here in conversation around these three topics that we have today. So the topics for today, can we put those on the screen? There we are. So the topics for today, no one can do you like you. So what do you bring to the world? What are you totally unafraid to do? And what does Together We Rise mean to you? These are our three topics for conversation today. There is an African proverb that says, right, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. 80 years our community has been here, and we've come a long way, haven't we? Yes, we have. And now it's 2024, and we're moving into a whole brand new, something new, aren't we? So we are being vision-led, and that vision is unfolding. And coming together, we rise. Isn't that amazing? How's that feel? All right, take it in, nice deep breath. And exhale. All right, so this week, take that which is uniquely your spice and share it with the world. Is that an easy enough assignment for you tomorrow? Where are you? There's your homework, okay? So take the spice that you are and share it with the world. Good? Yeah. All right, and so it is. All right. And let us come together in consciousness. So I know that right here and right now, there is only one life, one power, one presence, one infinite eternal that is living in all, through all, as all. It is the all in all. It is the totality. It is the beginning, the alpha, the omega. It is the end. It is everything in between. There is no beginning. There is no end. It simply is all and all and all and all, forever and ever expanding. For it is the wholeness that we live, move, breathe, and have our being in. It is the wholeness that each one of us is a part of. It is that wholeness that is living in, through, and as each one of us in its totality, as the holographic universe that we live in is. That right where we are, the full presence and power of God is. Right where I am, it is. And it is within each and every one of us. And we shine our light, we bring this light forward together as a community. And so I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that the light and the love that each one of us is, the wisdom that each one of us is, individualized as it is through in each one of us, that as we come together in consciousness, as we come together in community, that together we rise, together we are larger, we are greater than the sum of our individualized parts. That together something new is being born right here and right now through each and every one of us collectively, and through our community as a whole. As each one shines their light, as each one offers their individualized gift, as each one shows up in their beautiful, gorgeous, magnificent, individualized expression of the one life, that they share their spice with us, with one another, in this community. And we create this beautiful, yummy, delicious gumbo, this delicious stew, this deliciousness that we are. And we feed one another. We serve one another. We love one another. We support one another. And together we rise. And so I give thanks for all that is yet to be. I give thanks for all that has been. For truly we are blessed and a blessing. And I release this word now into the law, knowing it is done, knowing it is fulfilled. I simply let it be, and together we affirm, and so it is.